for young people to have opportunities, we need to help them develop. And people talk about leadership, but the first and most important thing about leadership is understanding yourself, your own strengths, maybe your own weaknesses as well, the things that you prefer and the things that you find difficult. And I think what all of the young people on the course find out is a lot more about themselves, which then helps them to go and lead other people.
And did you draw on your own personal experience in thinking that I can contribute something to this?
Yeah, I think when you're in a position where you're leading the national football team, thankfully we've had good results, so people pay a little bit more attention maybe to the way that you lead, and maybe there's a perception that you have to be a certain character to be a leader or to be in charge, when actually that personality can take all different sorts of forms. So you don't have to be one personality type to be able to lead other people successfully.
And can you draw, do you draw in your involvement in what happens in sport, in football, what's happened to you with England? You can draw on that.
Yeah, I think it's important when you're working with young people that they recognise not only that it's possible to succeed, but that before the success there's a lot of hard learning and there's a lot of difficult times and a lot of failures along the way. And I think it's fine to be open about those things because that's part of improvement. And I think when you're young, you're working all of those things out in your life. You don't know maybe necessarily exactly what you want to do, and you assume that everybody that's older and appears successful on the outside, that life's been a breeze for them. And generally speaking, all the successful people I've ever met, that hasn't been the case.
And because leadership is about how you deal with those, not failures, but when things don't go according to plan. I mean, you with England had incredible success. Do you kind of brace yourself for when the results are not quite so good? I mean, do you sort of look ahead and think, how am I going to deal with that?
Well, I've had a fair amount of failure as well with England, so I'm pretty well adapted to what that might be. And you know that for every success there will be difficult times, but as a leader you've got to take the rest of the group through those difficult times and keep them on track, keep them focused on the vision ahead and lead them through those difficult spells. They're the biggest challenges for leaders, that people lose confidence in the plan if you're losing matches or if there's difficult moments.
But there are lots of things you could do when it comes to sort of charities or helping organisations. What is it about this that you think that makes it something where you can really contribute, and what are you going to be doing?
Yeah, so this is I've worked with the Prince's Trust for over 10 years anyway, so I have a good association and a good understanding of the areas of their work. I think it's so important to invest in young people. It's obvious, but they are the future of our country. And the more that we can develop leaders and the more that we can give young people confidence, and then they can go out and earn opportunity, then we're affecting everything that happens in our country. So I'm in a position where, because of the role I'm in, I think I can make a difference. And I'm also working with young people of this age every day of my working life. So,
and just finally on this, what would be your key message then to maybe a young person who doesn't feel confident enough even to apply for to come on a programme like this? What would be your message to them?
Yeah, that I think everybody in the world has insecurities. Everybody. And very often that inhibits us from doing what might be possible and really going for things. So sometimes the most difficult thing is to pick up the phone and enrol on a course, or to approach somebody to go on a course. And if you can make that step, then I think the experience of coming and taking part in that leadership journey will give them great skills for the rest of their lives.
All right, let's talk briefly about football. I mean, it's been the most extraordinary 48 hours. Can you quite believe what you've witnessed with these two wins by Liverpool and Tottenham?
Well, I was at Manchester City on Monday, so I thought that was an incredible twist in itself. I was in Anfield on Tuesday, so left there thinking I'd seen one of the most, I mean, I've been in football 30 years, one of the most incredible nights I can remember. For it then to be backed up by Tottenham on Wednesday was phenomenal. I mean, huge credit to both managers. In different circumstances, they've achieved incredible seasons. And from an England perspective, brilliant for all of our players that they're having these experiences in big matches where they're having to play under pressure. And they've come out successfully.
Is it good for England, though, because you've got this issue now, haven't you? It lands you in a bit of trouble with the dates. The Champions League final on June the 1st. You've got the game, semi-final of the National League on the 6th. So how much of a headache is that for you then?
Well, it's making things more complicated, that's for sure, because reality is we'll get 7 or 8 of those players 3 days before our semi-final. So you have great ideas as a manager of planning things and working with the team, and in truth we'll have half of our squad that won't be with us until 3 days before. So more complicated, but brilliant for the players, and long term for England. We need them in those matches, and our job as a staff is to adapt to those changes and make sure that we're still prepared for the semi-final with Holland.
So who's going to win the Champions League? Come on.
Well,
it's a tricky one, isn't it?
It is a really difficult, because I think Liverpool have won the matches between the two this year. But the Champions League matches I've been at this year, I was in Paris when Manchester United won, which I went there not thinking that was going to happen. I went to Anfield not thinking that was going to happen. Saw Spurs win against Manchester City, which certainly, 2 minutes from the end didn't look like it was going to happen. So it's been a remarkable year in that competition, and anything is possible. And luckily, I don't care, actually. As long as the English players come through, play well and stay fit, then I'm happy.
Yeah. And just finally, the Women's World Cup. I mean, you've had a great World Cup just recently, last year. What is your message to them?
Well, they're ready. They're they've got a nice blend of some experienced players who've been to World Cups before. Quite a few of them have over 100 caps. They were doing this before us. They were in a semi-final 4 years ago. So, and they've got some good young players coming through as well. So hugely exciting summer for them. We're all supportive of what they're going to do, and my only advice would be to enjoy it in the way that we did.